Hello, and welcome to this week's I Would Agree. Bit of a different show this week. We've had to pre-record because unfortunately our guest for this week was super packed out at the time that we'd normally have a show. And rather than give you guys a miss for the week, I just really wanted to get this recorded and have him on the show. I think it's a really appropriate time to have our guest for this week on the show. There's lots of stuff going on at the moment. But without any kind of further ado, for his second appearance, and there's not many people have made it to a second appearance on this show, so bit of a congratulations. But good to have you back on the show again, Alex Mead. Hi,
Great, great to be back. Good
how are
to
you
see
doing?
you. And frustrated, but also, do you know what? I'm trying to PR exercise because I'm very good at customer service experience. But the CXM magazine top 25, I don't know if you've seen it, influencers list. I'm like, just let it go, Alex. But I've had literally 20 plus people message me, say something. This is terrible. And I'm like, you say something. So there's less of this. I'm a ranter. I'm just someone who wants to talk about how I think things should be done and how I do them myself. Probably contradicts 90% of the views of others, which is fine. It's not a rant. It's not an attack. It's just my point of view. But yeah, I can't help rant occasionally though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Alex. And do you know what? Would it even be an episode of Alex Mead appearing on the show if it didn't have a little bit of a rant? I think our viewers would be a little bit disappointed. Do you know what? It's good to be polarising, and look, it's not good to be vanilla for everybody. It draws the people to you that understand what you're getting at, and polarises the people who wouldn't be a good match away. And people shouldn't be everything to everyone, I don't think. So yeah, it's good to have somebody with strong opinions. I think been an interesting year, Alex. Obviously, we kind of I'm going to use this with quote marks in the air, but we've come out of COVID um, into 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 the new financial climate. Lots of businesses are kind of cutting back on what they're doing. They're looking to make savings. They're looking to trim down on their overheads. We've seen lots of stories in the press about sort of big SaaS business, big enterprise technology firms letting people go. Um, what's your experience on how? So, like we had you on the show pretty much a year and a half ago now. How has CX changed in that time? Where's it gone to? Has it improved? Is it worse? What's your thoughts?
Okay. First of all, what is CX is the question that drives me insane because I have a very clear view. Customer experience should not be a phrase you can use in isolation. There's customer service experience and brand and marketing experience. So the latter, I get better personalized offers all the time. I get, people, how did you know I was interested in that pair of shoes? I was just literally thinking about it. I walk into a store, I get that's got better, but customer service experience, I'm not saying it's getting worse. I'm just saying it's stuck and it's pretty useless in 90% plus of my interactions. And, what I have to say though, when I mean customer service experience, too many people think, you mean customer support. No, customer service experience is customer question or need at every life cycle stage. So you think, brand and marketing team could be really strict. They could see, hey, Alex, you've been browsing Adidas trainers. They send me an offer within 5 minutes for Adidas trainers. I click on the link. The trainers sit in my basket, but then I want to know, when I order them now, when will they be delivered? Because I'm on a flight tomorrow. Brand and marketing people, that's not our job. And the poor customer service experience people won't even have the information to join into that process. So that's a simple example, but customer service experience, you can't phone an airline without being answered less than an hour if you're lucky. Utility companies, banks, I can list pretty much every sector. There's some good ones, but the reason for that, for me, is because they still follow 1990s processes. Okay, here's your option. A chatbot, IVR, web chat. Start talking to us, tell us what you need, and then we'll try and help you. Then it needs to be reversed completely to what is it you need? Now we'll offer you the channel and the solution based on that. So, and that's where the ChatGPT, any of these amazing natural language engines, as a customer, I should be able to go, hey, Amazon, hey, Adidas, hey, whoever, that order I made yesterday, where is it? It's supposed to be here 2 hours ago. Put the phone down, and that's simple. But then what I'd love a company to do, whether it be a big retailer, is that, okay, this is Alex. He's a high value customer for us. So first of all, we're going to prioritize him over low value. That's the fact of life. But secondly, we remember when he made the call or he placed the order or had the chat, he said the item he is ordering is very important. It's for his parents' wedding anniversary tomorrow. And so now we know all that. We're not going to give him an IVR saying press 1 for this, 6 for that, or put him in a chat queue. We're going to put that into a queue that says high value customer, highly contextual situation where something needs to happen now. And if we can do that with AI, hey, it's okay. You can do it with a human being or AI. That would be customer service experience we want now. So against that, I don't think of a single company that comes even close to that. So we all complain about, I don't get calls answered, that email is terrible, the chat. And when I speak to someone, they're not empowered. That's bad. But against where we should be doing things, we're so far off, it's off the charts. And I get frustrated, not a rant, it's just an observation that I don't hear people talking that way. This is what customer experience should be talking about. How can we better put AI into our next best action when a call is answered by CTI? It should be, how can we go back to the very start and treat every customer as an individual based on their persona, their context, the situation, which is why I came up with this EPIC framework, believe it or not, 10 years ago. So we can explain that. And the other aspect is customer service stuff. Oh my God. I actually started before it took internet. I'm that old, we had phone calls and letters. Those were the days. And if you didn't like the look of the letter, slight confession, just put that one, always fell into the bin. It was that was the 1990s, mid-1990s customer service. But for these days, the agents have all this pressure and time scale on, you have to respond to 50 chats or 60 phone calls and outbound, inbound. And I would absolutely love, I do, when I have my leadership roles, I move towards, I'm not measuring you on numbers of things done. I'm measuring you on solving customers' issues. And we can't do that, Alex, because we're not allowed to phone customers back. Well, we'll change that, because my model will be, hey, Paul, you're Paul. Hey, Alex, I need an update on this order. I need to know where it is. It's really important, or I'm going to miss my flight. I need another flight. What options have you got for me? Normally the agent will say, well, you can go on our website and check. I would love the agent to say, okay, Paul, leave it with me. Give me 10 minutes to look into that. I can phone you back or message you back. Which do you prefer? What, and it's a much better job in life for the customer service agent, the customer. Wow. Obviously, the trick though is we hear that sometimes a lot, and the phone call doesn't come back because the agent just wants to get the customer off the phone. So you need to have a completely different culture, and for the different culture, you need the CEO, the CFO, the CPO to agree, okay, we're going to chuck away all this. So call after call, chat after chat. And the thing that is crazy about it though, and I've seen the financial return, actually empowering and measuring your customer service agent, letting them take a customer issue, own it, work with other departments if they need to. Most of them taking other contacts is more efficient than just call after call, chat after chat, because you don't solve the customer's issue. They have to come back again and they chase you, and also you probably lose their business. So, but again, how many customer service environments you walk in and it says, hey, our agents are all empowered to own customer issues. No, oh God, there's 500 chats in the queue. Oh, and I'll ask to do 5 concurrent chats. One at a time. That's what I like. Yeah.
And then on LinkedIn, yes, if you ask a Paul on LinkedIn, their answer will be, yes, I feel empowered. But it's just window shopping answers, right? And that's something that I think the industry suffers from a lot. I think people are too afraid to kind of be honest about things. And I understand that certainly from an agent and team leader perspective, right? You don't want to put your job at risk by disagreeing with the culture of the business. But you're absolutely right. Like when you mentioned measuring people on different metrics and empower them to go away and deal with these things, and like having the right culture in place so that they don't just not do anything with it and bin it. The first place my brain went was, how would you hold people accountable to that? But you're absolutely right. You shouldn't need to hold people accountable, because it should be rare that an agent should want to deal with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's not the mentality that you need.
And obviously it links to, you can't just, a lot of agents, and I was one myself many years ago, you like the feeling of put the phone down, my shift's done, or you feel like, oh, thank God for that. I can go watch the football and forget about it. It was, I remember when I was an agent, I literally operated the way I described, even though I wasn't supposed to. So I wrote down all those little customers that I knew. I told them that the engineer will be there tomorrow morning, or the bill will be resent. I would keep a note and I would check it myself the next day. And I'd make an outbound call. We weren't officially allowed to. And I actually
Yeah.
I got sectioned and disciplined because my productivity for answering inbound calls was with 20% less than everyone else's. And they were literally taking me down a formal disciplinary path. And every month they pulled together commendation letters. There were letters those days. People sent letters. And of the 60 odd commendation letters, 30 plus were put for me out of a department of 600. And people were like, oh, we can't really sanction this guy. But, ultimately I became the manager of that company 3 years later. We did it my way, and we won an award as best customer service in the sector. So, but it's don't get me wrong. Underneath all of this, just empowering agents to own issues, you still need to plan and forecast and measure productivity to a degree. But just customers, agents like to help human beings, and what a great feeling. And what I always give them okay, don't just ever give up. If it's not within your control to get an answer, that's when you escalate. You hey, Paul, sorry, I'm going to have to pass this to my manager or to this department. They're now going to own it. I'll keep an eye on it, but they're now going to own it because what you're asking for is not in my ability to fix. We will do something. But then I was, okay, how would you feel as an agent having to say, I agree, but I can't fix it. So I'll also make sure we capture every one of those situations where customer service agent can't do what they feel is right. And, if we need to re-engineer and change the process, we will. But I always have a very simple golden rule. If you've let a customer down and it's a high emotional, high value moment, just do what it takes to put it right. So, common thing, I worked for a company that delivered 500,000 parcels a day once, 10 plus years ago, and about 10 years ago. And we failed to deliver a large item, and it's a birthday present or something. Okay, it's really important. Like, I tell you what, I went over from our local depot. It's a Toys R Us bike. Yeah, I remember it's a Toys R Us bike. The My Little Pony one. We'll go and buy you one. Do you want it? Do you want it delivered safely? You want it wrapped up? I would rather an agent did that rather than will it be delivered again tomorrow if you're lucky. It's it's not easy, and that's why when people say you need to do voice of the customer journey map, sure that helps, but you have to start with what is the culture of the company. And all of these things I'm describing are never easy to get through, and you don't get them all through, but you have to explain, and you have to break that down into a business case as well. At the moment, we have 500 agents doing this number of contacts, this cost, blah, blah, blah. Your model, Alex, we may need more agents. I actually say, no, we won't, because I'm going to go to my epic framework, which basically allows a customer to describe what their issue is before we make them get in touch. And we would always try and give them a contextual answer. So, hey, I need to know if I can change my flight. Knowledge management chatbot should be able to give a specific answer to that customer. So you've taken that out. Or, hey, for goodness sake, that order was supposed to be here 2 hours ago. It's not here. We'll look back at what we know about the ordering process. Did the customer say anything? Was it an emotionally important order, whatever? And then we can create a case straight away based on that. You don't need to sit in a queue or chat with someone. You've told us that. And the thing that another one of my fairly unique things is I don't like having internal CRM platforms where every question is logged secretly for the company to look at. Every time a customer talks to a company I'm CX leader for, I give them a my help area. They can go in there. They can see their case. Can see. I can track. Okay, you've said you're going to get back to me. I can see it. And it's like open honesty. And again, you don't start with that. You have to fix all that the stuff in the weeds. But honestly, put all this together. The first thing I do in every role is start with a vision. What is the vision? Contextual, blah, blah, blah. The agents are empowered, blah, blah. And the tough part is the CFO going to cost a lot. What tech do you need? The CTO, I don't agree with that tech strategy, blah, blah, blah. Chief people officer, how are you going to measure this? Blah, blah, blah. And that's the toughest part. And you fight all those battles and you put a business case together. It stacks up financially every time. It does. But that's again, so what I feel about customer experience, that was the question a long time ago. Um, Customer service experience sucks. But I think it's static, but it's getting worse because staying still is getting further away from the vision I described how we should do things.
Yeah, I guess it's the equivalent of being on a stationary wage during inflation, right? Like it's not moving forward. Those expectations are, therefore it's getting worse. Not intentionally, but by design. Um,
Correct.
it's funny when you mentioned that kind of that advisor attitude that you had when you were younger. That's exactly my wife, right? Like we met in a call center back in Empower in the day,
Wow.
and
Oh, great.
I was advisor number one. Like, I just want to get home, right? Like, I'll just hands on heart, everyone who was one of the customers that I answered the phone to. I'm sorry, I was a terrible agent. I enjoyed the job, and I did genuinely want to help people, but only in so much as I had to. Um, but my wife was exactly as you described, Alex. She had a notebook nobody else had with all of customers' details in it. She wasn't supposed to keep for data protection reasons. She kept it at work, and she noted down their account numbers, and she checked back up on all the old ladies who she had promised a meter change for to see whether it had been done. She'd follow up on them. Yeah, amazing. And also the reason why we couldn't work together, because after a year of that, conflicting ideologies, we definitely decided that it'd be better for our relationship if we didn't work together. Um,
Marvelous.
luckily, my attitude changed a bit as I grew up. But yeah, it was very interesting times. Um, what one thing that's kind of occurred to me is whilst we're talking us through that process there, Alex, is um, I'd love to kind of get an idea for what it is that you think that holds businesses back from actually achieving what you've said. And you've kind of touched on it already, right? Like you get that disagreement from the C-suite, but what lies behind that? And I suspect, and I'll say this up front, I suspect it's something along the lines of um, this is a fundamental change to the way that they do business, and therefore everyone's job is at risk as a result of doing it. And from their perspective, is it a risk that we're willing to take for the returns that we're likely to get? Is that what you're seeing? Is that where you think that the struggle sits?
Yeah, I think the first part you're in effect saying the way they currently do things isn't a good way to be doing things. So you're almost like criticizing their strategy. So you've got to be very careful with that. You're calling their baby ugly, so the way I try to do it is, okay, here's where we are. You had a strategy to get here. It may have been good or bad. It's irrelevant. Here's where we are this moment in time. You then have to break down into black and white. So the reality of your life cycle stages. So first of all, awareness, interest, intent. I take them through all the stages: awareness, interest, intent, purchase, fulfillment, service support, etc. And I'll explain each stage, not with numbers. I'll say, so awareness right now, this is how it is. And I'll say, website, a customer goes to a website. You've done some great brand marketing to show, hey, our company's awesome. We invest in ethical X, Y, and Z. You go to your website. There's no way for a customer to get any information about any of the products. You have an email list at the bottom of the page. Customers don't email you. They want to click on the product and they want to, see it in a nice graphical, whatever interactive way that marketing can own. But if they want to ask a question, I like that product. If it's tech, is it compatible with my 55-inch TV or my sound system? You can't ask the most basic question. So if I can get data to back these things up, I'll then say, and I've spoken to the marketing insight team, they say that of 95% of people that look at products, they drop off on this page. This is the page where there's no product information. So you're losing the sales. And then it becomes interest. Okay, you can demonstrate because the customers come back 3 or 4 times, looked at that product, they've Googled it, they've gone back. So the marketing insight can say, the customer is definitely interested. Do you know what we do after that stage? Nothing. We don't follow up with them, we lose them. And that's not really my sweet spot. That's kind of marketing area, but I always think end to end. And then we come to, okay, intent. They now want to make a purchase. Do you know how awful the checkout is? My God, they're already signed in. They've already given you all their details and they have to repeat it. And there's not a button to say the billing address is the same as the delivery address. And you know how many customers give up because PayPal isn't working or Apple Pay? 75% of customers drop off at the payment stage. And here's why, because it's yeah. And then I go, okay, let's get to my hotspot then. The customer service there. They've made an order. There's no way for a customer to know if their order is coming when we said it's coming. And lo and behold, by the way, the initial statement we put up front for when to expect the order, 89% of the time we fail to deliver within a day of when we said it. And what I've looked at is along the way, 50% of those 89% of the time make a contact to us, which is an avoidable contact. If we just were more open with when to expect the package, let them receive it. That's 50% contact saving, headcount saving. But of those customers that receive it over 2 days late, 65% of them return it because they're fed up with the fact it wasn't delivered when they want it. And then on and on, I'll break all these down into percentages and I'll say to them, I've worked with the finance guys, let's turn these into numbers. There's 200 million revenue being lost every quarter because we're failing to acquire and sell when we should. And there's 250 million lost on bad customer service, meaning customers return their items and don't stick with us and order again. What really, Alex? This fact the code, yeah, it sounds reasonable. And someone will say, yeah, but our NPS is 86%. I'll say, NPS, okay, what is NPS to you? It's a quarterly survey. Okay, who'd you send it to? Customers that ordered from us. Well, you remember at the start, I told you about those 95% of customers that don't even bother to order. And then you extrapolate that. You're only asking those customers who ordered from you that didn't return the item. So if you want to do pretend numbers, go ahead. But, there are so many opportunities. And by the way, have you seen your reputation on social media? It's a car crash. So, okay. And then you get to, okay, so what can we do about it, Alex? And say, now let me share my vision. And then you have to align the vision to those steps. So, yeah. And the problem is so few people talk to boards, and I'm not a consultant. I work hands-on with companies in ways where hey, first we've got to do a voice of the customer program. We have to make sure our CX is embedded into everything we do. I said, no, I just want to understand everything is a life cycle stage. Everything we do, I'm either an existing customer who wants to return something or I inquire about it, or I'm a prospective customer somewhere between the ends of the spectrum. And I embed customer service experience into every one of those stages. And 2 or 3 times in my life, unfortunately out of several, it was only 2 or 3 times have I really met that perfect where the CEO gets it. I know it, Alex, I'm going to back it. And I work hand in hand with a really strong marketing leader. And that's why I get so frustrated when I see new chief customer officer or new chief experience officer, and they've only got a marketing background. Companies should have a chief marketing officer and a chief customer service experience officer. That's what works. Call it what you want in terms of title, because they're the perfect yin and yang to each other. The customer service guy, here's what customers are telling us every day. Here's where the knowledge management doesn't work. Here's where we get complaints the most, where we get the worst feedback. And the marketing guy says, hey, I want to know how we can make our customers like our products more. Hey, let's work together at every life cycle stage. And but if you miss one of the two, that's why having customer service experience is shocking, because the rise of the CXO, the CCO is just being the rise of chief marketing officers with sexier titles, in my experience.
It's an interesting point to make, though, because quite often I outreach to obviously what we do is conversation analytics, right, and giving insights from customer conversations. That's one element of what we do, but I reach out quite regularly to chief marketing officers and senior marketing leaders, and they're like, "Well, we don't have any say on the tech stack, and we're not like we don't, it's not really our thing." Like, let me pass it to the person. I'm like, "But look, you're missing the point entirely." Because what we've got has so much customer conversations that you already have so much information that is a super high value to the marketing team. And if you're not already using it, the returns you can get are absolutely out of this world.
Absolutely. And on that, actually to me, it's almost the cornerstone of my last 2 or 3 roles that, I don't like sending voice of the customer. So if a customer, you can do that. To me, marketing can do that all they like. What I like is, every conversation a customer has with us gets recorded somewhere in some system, a voice call, a written data call. And I want to know, we actually put it live in my last role. As the customer is talking in real time via text or via voice, that's being transcribed into next best actions. So the poor agent, maybe this will help. But the trick is you can't start with what the customer's saying in that conversation. You've got to push through what they were saying to the chatbot, what were they looking at on the website beforehand. So it's Paul, he's been talking to a chatbot, hopefully not a terrible one. We already know what he wants. But then this is the bit that I think you're alluding to. Everyone has that strategy, but the strategy I said at the start, yeah, but Paul is really angry right now. Just because he's angry, he shouldn't change it. But he's angry because we told him we'd upgrade him on the flight. And now he's got to sit 12 hours on a flight to USA in economy class. And worse, he'd already prepaid an hour seat when we told him we were going to upgrade him. And now we put him in a middle row for 12 hours through the night. Paul is really angry. So we know that based on either what he said to the chatbot or the agent within real time. So as soon as that agent, boom, they should be given in your face, right? Wait. Don't just do the parrot fashion. I'm sorry, sir. I'm very policy. Stop and think. And you know what? Let's see what we can do different. And customer experience is all about those golden moments. Hey, Paul, okay, and this is a real story I actually did when I worked for an airline. I'm afraid, it was transferred to me. I'm sorry. Our agent is correct. We promised you, we shouldn't have made the promise and upgrade. Unfortunately, business class seats were booked at the last minute. But what I can do, we have one left in first class upper deck. Interested? Oh, Alex, that'd be amazing. Come on, and it was no extra cost to us because it was an empty seat. Yeah. So imagine how that customer felt then. And they were like, God, economy. And they were in the first class. It was just nobody's using the context, the AI of what the customer's saying. And I know very well what your company does. It's when you have that data, what you do with it. And first thing to do with it is use that data and look at your CRM platform, your ERP, your GDS, your POS, and get the context, the bigger picture context, then do something with it rather than, hey, I could use a really angry customer or whatever. They're all angry. It's something much more sophisticated.
I think everybody wants to head towards the automation side of things. And let's be fair, like if you can automate a lot of the data science type stuff behind the scenes and feed the right insights into the agents live, then that's the place you want to get to. I think there's a starting point, which is just get the right information to your agent so they can start making the choices in the first place before you worry about automating. If businesses are out there thinking that's a huge leap to be able to get to the point where Alex is talking about, but there is a step in between. Because how many times have you spoken to an agent who just didn't have the full picture? I'm sorry, I can't see that conversation. It's on the WhatsApp channel and I don't have access to the WhatsApp channel. So I have no idea what's going on with that. Very sorry. That's a horrendous experience. But I spoke to your company 2 days ago. Yeah, but I don't know what you said. So can you reiterate the whole thing again? It's not being logged. What, really? Let's just get to the basic points where everybody understands. And don't go the other way and flood them, because that's a huge problem as well. Because in effect, all that'll happen is the agents work as if they have no information at all because they can't be bothered to sift through all that information. They don't know what's important, what's not. I once had somebody say to me they wanted to put the entire transcript for a call into the CRM notes. Now, I understand where they were going with it. I get the point of what they were trying to say. There's a far better option is let's just look at all the events in that conversation and put those into the notes as a summary. Then, if you want to really listen to the transcript, then you can listen to the transcript at a day. But your agent's not going to listen to that, not going to read that transcript. That's horrendous.
Actually,
imagine if it was a call.
Actually, that's what I have noticed, particularly in the last 18 months. The basics are disappearing. I even see, I think I was with 5 or 10 companies now who don't even have CTI. So I've made a call. You don't know who I am. Worse is when you're signed in. You're signed into the app. Okay, you've already authenticated my face. You recognize my face. If it's good enough for me to make a payment, it should be good enough for me to talk to an agent. Cool. So you can't request a call back. It should be able to, but determine the context. Forget that. Let me just call the number. Yeah, you got a membership number. What? I'm signed in. Oh, that's the membership number. What is my membership number? I use Face ID now. I don't even know what it is. Well, if you sign back out and go to our website, it's just horrific. There's so many broken aspects to the basics now. And then the agent, let's assume the phone number is recognized. The agent won't get the screen pop. They'll go, can I have you found your email address? Like, I'm phoning you. I'm signed in. Honestly, the basics are falling apart. And I don't know why that is. It's like, I think I put on a post a couple of weeks ago that I used to be called customer service director. And there were 50 plus, many more really good customer service directors in the early 2000s. We had a great community. We used to talk about real challenges and we helped each other and we did some pretty awesome things. You don't really hear a customer service, I call it customer service experience, but you don't hear a customer service conversation. You hear CX expert this, CX. I just, honestly, I hate the term CX with a passion. I obviously have to put it on my profile because that's what I kind of do. But there are so many people doing, practicing, consulting, speaking, accrediting about CX. Do not talk or thinking about any one of the things I've mentioned in this 31 minutes we've spoken, and that is what customers need right now, I think.
I think hats off though, Alex, because no change ever happened without conversations being had, and you're willing to engage with pretty much everybody that's out there. You know, like I know you can kind of get on your soapbox at times, but like I think honestly, I think it's a good thing because it's the passion that drives the really positive conversations that step by step will change the direction of the industry, or I'd like to think anyway, would change the step of the industry. And you know, without people fighting for those changes, we'll just accept the status quo and things will stay exactly as they are, which is continue to move forward.
So
Geez, didn't think I'd say that sentence 3 years ago. But awesome. Well, Alex, we've just ticked over the 30-minute mark, so I'm gonna wrap things up there. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back on the show again. Congratulations on what you've been doing in the last year or so, and absolutely keep us up to date with the exciting things that you've got planned.
will do. And obviously, the most important thing in the next week is the second leg at St. James's. Come on, Southampton. 3-0. 3-0. I start here. I'm not saying
Even
which
on
way.
Even wear the right colours and so on with it.
I'm talking to you, Liverpool.
Awesome. Good to catch up, Alex. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.
Okay.